Hello friends, family, strangers, welcome to my first video vlog. Never thought I'd be making a vlog, but here I am, I'm making a vlog. If you don't know me, my name is Matthew Kelling. I also go online under the username Katana. You can follow me on Twitter there, find me lots of other places. I wanted to share with you what I'm up to these days and what my next big project is. I wanted to actually show it to you in video. At least me explaining it to you in video, because I thought that would be a better explanation than like I could type out or something fun like that. So let's see. My next big project is going to be a program that I'm going to write. At least that's what my plan is right now. Who actually knows what's actually going to happen? But that's my plan. I'm going to try to make a program. I actually do have a program out there right now, so it's not completely foreign to me. Writing programs, you can go and find my one program out there if you really want to. Other than that, I hope to make a new program. Hopefully this one will be a lot better than my last one. So a little bit of background about all of this before we get into what the program actually does. When churches were making a move more towards modern media, they were trying to put words up on the screen, things like that, what we now do in most churches, put words up on the screen. They started out by doing actually overhead projectors. I remember in my youth we used overhead projectors. And then a lot of churches very quickly moved to PowerPoint. Put a computer, put words up on the screen using PowerPoint, and it worked. Well, it worked for a little while. PowerPoint's really limited. It's not made for doing like church live worship. It's not made for doing live stuff like that. And so, if the worship leader like starts making changes to the words to the song or something, PowerPoint doesn't. You can't go back like 3 slides. It looks funny, and you can't do these other things. So, different people started making software that's designed for worship media, putting lyrics up on the screen. And today they're very sophisticated. They do a lot of really cool things. There's a lot of them out there. Media Shout, Easy Worship, Proclaim. There are lots of them, dozens of these programs. My favorite personally is ProPresenter. I'm a huge fan. I love what they do. They're a really cool company. And so I wanted to help other people that use ProPresenter maybe. One of the problems with ProPresenter, as with all of these kind of softwares, is you're limited to what you can put in, what the person that's preparing the slides for Sunday, what they put in. So what a lot of people do is they'll, okay, we're going to sing a certain song on Sunday. Let's, do a search online and find the lyrics and just copy and paste them from a website. And that works for the most part. But a lot of times when people copy and paste things over, you get artifacts, different things that shouldn't be in the final product, but kind of ended up that way. A lot of what I call hanging chads, extra spaces at the end, or extra, returns, and so the thing is off center and off kilter, or they, don't capitalize the right words, or misspellings, or all these kind of things. And these things really bother me when I'm in church and I see these things. And you say, well, Matthew, just ignore those things. That, yes, it is my OCD, and yes, my OCD makes me really want to make everything lined up perfectly square and all that kind of fun stuff. But to me, it is even more than just my OCD. To me, back up just another second. I really believe in a media ministry. I believe that media, as in not just the words on the screen, but the audio, the lighting, all of these kind of things, even posting on Facebook, all these kind of things are a ministry of the church. They should be a ministry of the church. And as they're a ministry of the church, I believe that they should be done with excellence. That if a church is doing something as a ministry, it should be done with excellence. And if a church cannot do something with excellence, then maybe it shouldn't be done. And so that's why I really go OCD extra about these kind of things up on the screen, because they should be done with excellence. That they should be grammatically correct. They should be, have the right spellings. I've seen misspellings up on the screen more than I can count. I worked at a church for 9 years. I've put in lots of misspellings myself, so I know these kind of things. I'm not at all pointing fingers at everyone else. I've done this plenty myself. So that's why it really bothered me that when I see those kind of things. And so I want to write a program to help with this, to help alleviate these kind of things, because I know that not everyone's as OCD about me. as I am. Not everyone sees all of these problems as clearly and as bright as day as I do. And so I think that if I can write a program that can point out these flaws, for lack of a better word, that at least I won't I won't lose as much sleep as I have in the past. So I'm going to write a program. It only works with ProPresenter, but that's limitation early on. Maybe I should say. Maybe one day we might update that. But just as I like ProPresenter, I know most people that I know use ProPresenter, so that's what I'm going to focus on. And I know how they do their their files, and so I know I can get in and access that information. So I plan to write a piece of software. Right now, it's called ProOCD. I don't know if I'm going to change that name anytime soon. It might, who knows. And here's kind of I've been thinking about this for 6 months. I've, wanted to do this for a long time, and only recently have I really put forth some effort into getting it done. I haven't written a single line of code yet. That's what later tonight's going to do. It's 10:30 right now, p.m., and I'll be working on that later tonight. Actually writing my first code. But my roadmap, because I realized earlier today that I needed a roadmap, where I'm going to go with this. I have a really basic roadmap. Now this roadmap is super not in stone. It's very elastic. It's just ideas that I have right now. Tomorrow I might throw it all out and start over. The next day I might not, do anything. So who knows? This is all super just throwing up in the air. I just wanted to share with you guys what I'm doing. So version 1.0, as I'm aiming for a 1.0, there are two main. There's one function that has to be in this program, just as kind of the core, basic, underlying understanding of what I want it to do. And then there's another feature that I think that I want it to have, and I'll explain that. The first thing is that I want it to be able to delete extra white spaces. That's kind of, to me, where this idea came from, is extra white spaces. And by white spaces, I mean like a tab is a white space, or when you hit the space bar, that's white space, or extra returns, those are white spaces. And a lot of times there's extra white space. There's too many returns at the end, or there's spaces between 2 or 3 spaces between a word, between two words, things like that. That's gonna be the core functionality, is getting rid of all those white spaces and only leaving in the white spaces you absolutely have to have. The second feature that version 1 is gonna have, that I couldn't in conscience release a program without this feature, is to have a backup system built in, so that before it deletes all those white spaces, it'll make a backup of all those copies, so that if something goes totally wrong, you have a backup there. And this is important to me, and this is one aside, one disclaimer. I have no affiliation with ProPresenter or Renewed Vision, the company that makes ProPresenter. As of right now, I've never even talked to them about this project. They have no idea what's going on. So all of this is just me basically reaching in and changing stuff, and I don't want to say hoping for the best, because I have confidence that it'll work. But, who knows what's going to happen. I can't guarantee these things are absolutely not going to go haywire. And so you have to have a backup just in case something happens. I won't release it if that's an option, but it's always an option if you know what I mean. So that's version 1. I plan on version 1 being free. Just a free tool that I'm going to throw out there. I hope to make it donation-ware, that if you like it, that if you think it's worth something, if however much you think it's worth, I would ask that you donate to me, or pay for it as much as you think that it's worth, and that'll just continue the development cycle. It'll allow me to make version 2 and so forth. Version 2, I hope to have to add more modules, what I'm calling modules. So white space would be just one module, but you can have it can do more than just white spaces. So a lot of churches, capitalization for one thing, a lot of churches want the first line of the, I don't know if that's backwards. Is that backwards? Anyway, what's your upper left? Is this the upper left, or is this your upper left? I don't know which way it's going. Anyway, the upper left, whichever upper left that is. The first word of the line needs to be capitalized, but none of it else needs to be capitalized. And depending on where you got these or who typed it in, you might have like the first word of each line capitalized, or none of it might be capitalized, or the words in the middle of the line might be capitalized and they shouldn't be. So there might be one module that would go in and fix all those capitalization errors. Different punctuation, depending on your church. You might want extra punctuation. You might not want no punctuation at all. A module for punctuation would have different options for what punctuation you want to keep and what you want to delete. Different things like that. I like the idea. I have 4 or 5 at least different modules that I want to that have planned out for this. Lots of different ideas. And again, like I said, version 1 would be free. I don't plan on all of these being free. I plan on eventually making money on this. I do think that it's worth something, and I do know that my time is valuable. So one of the things that I want to do and play with is for example, charging for the modules in version 2. Once we get to version 2, having in-app purchases for the modules. So if you want, the capitalization module, that's $5, for example. Or if you want the punctuation module, that's $5. Different modules could be different prices, or you could whatever. So along with that, going on with version 2, another idea that I want to implement with version 2 is put it in the App Store, in the Mac App Store, so that people can download it and it's easier, and all this kind of fun stuff. The Mac App Store has limitations, but I'm hoping to get around those limitations as much as I can and push through them if I can. Who knows? I might find other limitations. It just might not work. I might have to do it myself, sell it on my website. That's that could work as well. And there's different ideas I have for version 2. Lots of other ideas. I've got a list going around here somewhere. So version 3 going into to the next level would be like a complete design interface redesign. So that another example, you have live examples, so that when you hover over delete white space, there's a before and after that you can see what different things are going to be, or capitalization before and after, each different option. Lots more advanced options, giving the user as much options as possible. Exactly which punctuation. You want all the periods, but keep the commas. These kind of things. I hope to implement that in version 3. And also another feature that I like that I have in my head at least is what I'm calling double check. So double check would double check with the user to help eliminate false positives. As an example, the capitalization module might be able to say, I want to make sure that the word God is always capitalized. Well, that's, I could do that for you. Make sure the word God is always capitalized and gods is always capitalized, or gods with a apostrophe. But the problem with that is that there are false positives. Sing the line, "You are God above all gods." Well, you are God. That is a personal pronoun, so God would be capitalized, but above all gods would not be capitalized. It would be lowercase. So double check would let the user be able to manually check all of the changes before they happen, so that you eliminate those false positives. And you can turn it on and off depending on which module and which option is. You don't want every single thing double checked, but you can double check different things. So I have lots of ideas. These ideas go on and on. I've got a list maybe this long, maybe it keeps going, it keeps growing. Big. And I'm hoping that this idea is viable, that people like it, that people download it, that people use it, and that people pay for it, frankly, because I think it's worth paying for. I think it will be worth paying for. It's not right now. It's not even a single line of code yet. So that's kind of what my big next project is. Like I said, all these details are sure to change. These are just ideas that I'm spewing out, and let's see what happens. Journey with me. Journey with me and see what happens and see where we go. And I don't know. I'm out. I'm done. That's it. How long was this? Wow, this is a really long vlog. So anyway, please, I'd like all the feedback you could have. You can email me at matthew@memediaweb.com. Matthew@memediaweb.com. It's right down here. You see this? I'm pointing to it, so you have no excuses. Right there. Or is it down? It's somewhere around there. It's somewhere. So I really do want all the feedback. If you have ideas, if you think it's a good idea, if you don't like it, just email me. You can also follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Katana, Katanna. It's also right here. I'm pointing to it lots of different ways. So check it out. Email me. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my next vlog when it comes out. Who knows when. Bye.